Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my NHL 20 franchise mode here in the state of hockey. In the previous episode, we went over the rosters, we discussed our plan, and I think I am dead set on a 3-year plan. A rebuild is what I want to go for. Now, I do believe... Well, it is NHL 20. Anything can happen. I do believe we have players on this team that can make us competitors, that can bring us to a playoff spot, but I'm not going to force anything. I'm not going to just completely destroy this team if we're winning games. If we're winning games, we're winning games. But I want to acquire assets for the future. If we're going to be bad, I'm going to tear us apart. Okay? Now, before we get to anything else, we need to make one trade. I discussed it in the last episode, and Jason Zucker was traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but we roster moved Alex Galchenyuk and Kalen Addison over to the Minnesota Wild because Jason Zucker should be enough to get that first from Pittsburgh. And there were a few things that happened in the NHL yesterday. Let's see. The Islanders made a trade. The New Jersey Devils made a big trade, big splash with Tampa Bay. Terrible trade in my eyes. Tampa Bay gave up a lot for Blake Coleman, but I've already spent so much time on the rosters. How about we just continue forth? I would have to spend so many more days fixing up the rosters, and I don't have that kind of time. So let's go ahead, get that first round pick from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, I'm pretty sure they are going to give up their first round pick. That is good. Okie dokie. Now let's get that first from Pittsburgh. We should be able to get this on. Left winger in Jason Zucker. Jason Zucker, is that going to be enough? They will have more than 45 players on this team. Okay, we'll take over a bad player. How about this guy? Do the trade. Trade rejected. Okay, so we're going to have to do a little bit to swing this trade. Now, I'm all for realism's sake, but if we need to do something to swing this trade over, I'm okay with it. Now is there a rookie skater here anywhere? Let's just give him a third from next year to get this trade through. Trade rejected. Oh, you know what? We'll retain on the contract. Did we retain IRL? I'm not super sure about that, but how about $2 million? That should get it through. Really, Pittsburgh? We got to start off this franchise mode right, Pittsburgh. Come on. Trade accepted. Okay. You know what? We got that first from Pittsburgh. Everything is pretty realistic as it is. So, Minnesota. What are we looking like in 2019-2020? And here we go. Here is the official lineup of the Minnesota Wild. And as I said before, we could potentially compete with the players that we have on this team. The first line and the second line are pretty solid lines. Kevin Fiala is my personal favorite in that top six. He's young. He's got a lot of skill, a lot of talent, and he could go places. He's a sniper, apparently. Is he a sniper? I can't really recall. I mean, yeah, he scores goals. 23 goals 2 years ago with the Nashville Predators. He's a good player. He's young, plenty of time to grow into a similar player to maybe Eric Stahl, like in overall wise. Eric Stahl, obviously 34. He's definitely going to be going onto the trade block. Matt Zuccarello, probably going to go onto the trade block just because I hate that contract and it's totally going to weigh us down. $6 million over the next 5 years. He'll be 37. And I am not a huge fan of that. I'm not a huge fan of that. Second line, you have the Albatross contract in Zach Parise. As much as I want to trade him, and it would be pretty simple to trade him away, we are sticking to our guns. Zach Parise and Ryan Sutter are staying on this team for the duration of their contracts. It just makes it more realistic. Okay, Mikko Koivu, who could definitely be traded. Obviously, I want to trade the majority of these guys to get a few picks potentially a few prospects in the system. I'm obviously going to put them on the block. Hopefully a team reaches out and offers us something pretty fantastic. I plan on simulating half the season. If there's a few trades here and there, I want to look around the league and see what we can do to fix up this team depending on how we perform. And a guy who doesn't have much time to prove himself. Alex Galchenyuk, third-line scorer, but he's on the second line getting time with Parise and Mikko Koivu, two veterans in the league. Zach Parise, oh, I thought he was older. Never mind. Mikko Koivu's just old. He's always been old. When was he young? Right? He's like a person who's always been old, if you know what I mean. The third line. Okay, I'm very excited about this third line. And now I do have to change Gerald Mayhew to a sniper because he is a sniper. That's what he is. But Donato and Greenway and Mayhew are going to work so well. This is going to be the brightest spot on the team all year, I believe. I think they're going to stay together for the majority of the year, hopefully. I don't plan on trading any of them, so hopefully they perform. Fourth line, the only bright spot here is Luke Kunin. He's getting fourth line time. He is a fourth line forward, 78 overall. Hopefully he grows down there with guys like Ryan Hartman and Foligno. Those aren't two terrible wingers to have on the fourth line. Defense, you have the other Albatross contract in Ryan Sutter. He's a great defenseman. He's getting to the age where he's about to drop off. But as you see right here, we have a +3 on the top line, a +3 on the second line, and a +1 on the third line. So I haven't actually looked at the coach yet, so I'm going to go ahead and look at that after we check through the lineups. But apparently, we are obviously a more defensive-centered team. Minnesota has usually always been about goaltending and defense. But leading the way is Ryan Sutter, the young kid in Matt Dumba. I mean, he's not really a kid anymore. He's 25, but he is the guy that's going to take up the mantle pretty soon. You have Jared Spurgeon, who potentially will go on the block because I hate that extension. It's like it's close to 8 years or something at the highest amount of money Minnesota has ever dished out for a player in their history. I don't like the contract. 84 overall defenseman is awesome on your team, especially around $5 million. But man, oh man, that's a lot of money to dish out that we could spend other places. It's easy to get defensemen in these first few years for cheaper deals. Then you got Jonas Brodin, who is definitely a trade chip. I mean, he's making $4.1 million, which isn't bad. His contract is coming up in the next 2 seasons. I don't hate him. I personally like him on this roster. Obviously, we're a more defensive-minded team. But if it works, it works. But if there's a trade out there, obviously I'm going to pull the trigger. Then you got Brad Hunt and Greg Pattern, who is a terrible defenseman, IRL, and Brad Hunt. So it's a pretty solid defensive core. It's up there in the top of the league. Then we head to goaltending. Devin Dubnyk and Alex Stalock. IRL, they are not playing the best of hockey, but only a few seasons ago, Devin Dubnyk was on top of the hockey world. He came over from Arizona for like a 3rd-round pick from Minnesota, and he turned into their franchise goalie. You know, you look at his stats, only a few seasons ago, he was putting up .923, .930 when he came over to Minnesota. He's not a bad goalie. I just think he's getting to that age where he has no room to grow. He's not playing great this year, so I thought I'd lower his overall just a bit. He's still a solid NHL goaltender. He can win you games if he needs to. Okay, your scratch players are Nick Seeler, Brown, and whatever this name is. Don't even make me pronounce that, please. Not this early into the series, but I will show you the special teams. Mayhew's getting a lot of power play time. I just want to test it out. He's got fantastic shooting stats. If we can aim for a 25-plus goal season for Mayhew, if we put that on the agenda, I think he could personally do it. We put him in the position to score. He's playing with a great playmaker and Matt Zuccarello, who is another great playmaker. I think it could work. You got Kevin Fiala, Parise, Koivu, and Galchenyuk. You got your biggest stars there on the power play. 4-man is looking like Stahl, Fiala, Mayhew's there. It's not a bad power play unit. Our best players are solid, but we don't have a bona fide superstar. And that's why I believe we have to tank. If we do compete, I'm not going to spend a bunch of money to go out and acquire superstars. It's hard to do that, especially if you don't have a deep prospect pool. Penalty kills looking like that. Three-man is looking like that. I tried to give a bunch of time to younger guys where I could, but obviously I could only do it to an extent. Especially when we start making trades, it'll open up on the roster. 3-man's looking like that. Extra attacker is Sutter and Stahl, and shootout's looking like that. But I did something crazy this year. Now, I did test this out in my last franchise mode, obviously the Columbus Blue Jackets. Jeffrey Woodworth, if you don't know that name, you're pretty new to my channel. Hello, thank you. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz. I tried it out. I would put a player twice on the power play, and they would usually put up over 100 points wherever they were playing. So, obviously, the best prospect for the Minnesota Wild is playing in the KHL, but in this game there is no Russian league. He's too old to play in the OHL, the WHL, the QMJHL, so I thought I would put him in the AHL just to keep him away from Minnesota from 1 year, just to keep it realistic, but he's playing on North American ice. Kirill Kaprizov, 22 years of age, high elite. He's not technically an NHL player yet. He's a depth forward, but his shooting stats are incredible. He's going to be a fantastic player in this league. It's only a matter of time. But this year, I'm hoping he lights it up. Obviously, there's a few notable players on this roster, excluding Kaprizov. Victor Rask might have to go. If he might go. He might also be a scapegoat once we start trading players throughout the season. He might come up into the NHL and support us. Okay, you got Joel Eriksson Ek, 22, fourth line forward technically, so if spots open up in the NHL, obviously I want to bring him up. Then you have newly minted Matthew Boldy, just drafted in the 2019 entry draft. He's a solid player. Obviously, I didn't think he went, 10th overall, somewhere around that range. I thought there were a few players that could have obviously went over him. He's not having the best of NCAA seasons, but I'm hoping he progresses pretty quickly here in the AHL. The only other noticeable player here in the bottom 6 is Connor Dewar for the Minnesota Wild. 65 overall, high top 9. We made sure to get him in the lineup. So hopefully he produces slowly but surely. He's 20, so he's edging to the point where he's not going to be a prospect anymore, so hopefully he grows into a suitable player. Defense, there's nothing really notable. The only noticeable guy here is Louis Belpido. Top 4 potential, but he's 23, so he's not really a prospect. So potentially a trade chip, but if we keep him here in the AHL, he should be a suitable guy for the AHL. Now, I was talking about playing somebody twice on the power play. Kirill Kaprizov is getting first and second line power play time. I want to roll this guy. I want him to get 40 goals in the AHL this year. And if he doesn't, I'll be a little disappointed. He should. He's playing with solid playmakers, Joel Eriksson Ek, Victor Rask, Boldy, all those guys. So hopefully he goes out there and performs. 4-man Kaprizov is playing both lines as well. Penalty kill. Made sure to get Boldy on there. He's a pretty big kid. He's 18. Hopefully he grows into that sort of player. He's technically a playmaker. So we could always change him over if we needed to, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. 3-man's looking like that. I know they have a -1 there, but Joel Eriksson Ek is a pretty solid player as it is anyway, so it shouldn't affect us too much. Extra lines obviously looking like that. Fedor Gordeev forever. What a beauty. Love him to death. 3-man, Kaprizov, obviously. This kid we are going to keep a track of. Now, in my previous franchise mode, I wasn't the best with keeping track of the AHL, but I want to try keeping track of the AHL in this series. So if I don't, always remind me if I forget to do something, because I'm a little forgetful at times. Okay. Extra attacker is obviously Kaprizov and Victor Rask. Shootout is looking like that. Goaltending is Kaapo Kähkönen. Now, I like this guy, but he's edging to the point. We have a lot of players like this where he almost isn't a prospect anymore. When he hits 24, it's do or die for him. If he doesn't grow this season, it's going to be rough for us. But I think we have a solid AHL squad. A lot of scratch players, but we have all the prospects that are notable playing. Okay, now that you reminded me, let's check the coach, wherever the coach may be, coaching staff. Let's look at it. I'm not super sure who we have. Our head coach is Zane Manino. His teaching speciality is for forwards. He was not a terrible coach. He's got a lot of A's. His scheme fit is he does like his defensemen, but he does like a few of the forwards as well. We can always decide to change this guy out in the future if need be. He only has 2 more years left on his contract. Durrett, Barrett, so 2 generalists and a forward coach. They should work pretty well together. You know, they're 2 balanced, 1 forward or 1 offensive styled coach, so they should work pretty well. The AHL head coach is a generalist. Style is physical. You know, I might want to change that up. He doesn't like Kaprizov. So, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and fire him right now. We're making moves. I came here to make moves. Okay? I came here to make moves. And we're making... Oh, currently do not have the amount of coaching slots filled on your team. So that means I have to... Oh, God, what did I did something wrong. Okay, AHL to AHL head... Okay, so I do want to check out head coaches. I want to make sure our AHL squad works out pretty solid. I want Kaprizov to be the happiest of the bunch. So then you got this guy right here, Adi Reyes. I really can't pronounce that. Would he like Kaprizov? Would he like Kaprizov? I really couldn't find that out. Okay, let's go to an AHL head coach in Simmons. He's more defensive rolled. He doesn't really like Kaprizov. So let's go to AHL head coaches, and that's NHL head coach Owen. AHL head coach. We got Primo. His teaching is a C- though, which I don't like. He does like Kaprizov though. Okay, we got a good teaching coach. Veterans, generalist, veterans. Okay. A lot of veteran coaches here. There's not a lot of AHL head coaches. Do we have a good assistant coach or something? Defenseman. Well, we got a generalist. Does he like Kaprizov? He likes Kaprizov. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to offer him whatever he wants to become our NHL or AHL head coach. I know. I'll play around with it. AHL head coach. Offer him the deal. Welcome to the club, boy. You should accept that contract. That's all I'm saying. No, wait. That means I'll have to demote. Okay. I'm messing up so bad this episode, but let's go ahead and I will check out our trade block. I know we're off to a messy start here, folks. But what do you expect? I'm going to keep Spurgeon on the block. Brown can get off. I don't really mind him this very second. I'm going to put Koivu on. And I'm going to put... I'll put Eric Stahl on just to see... Because Eric Stahl, that's an easy contract to move if need be, obviously. So, you know what? I'll fix this up real quick. Forwards... and then we'll get a goalie in there. There we go. See what we can get. Hopefully somebody offers us a few first-round picks. I'm totally willing to trade any 3 of those guys, if need be. So, let's go ahead and get to the regular season. I also did change Mayhew to a sniper just to see how that works out. So preseason is among us. I'm not too worried about that. No noticeable prospects in the lineup. The Iowa Wild have fired their head coach. Yeah, obviously I did that. And obviously that guy is going to... Yeah, okay, so we're going to hold on. Hold on. Hunt for a hold on. We can get the 3rd round pick that we just traded. And you know what? Hunt for 2 more years? I mean, what else can we swing for him, you know? Are we making a trade out early in the season? 80 overall, I mean, it's New York. How good is New York going to be next year, you know? It's a 3rd round pick. It's just more assets. What else are you going to get for Hunt? Right? You're moving up. That's 2 third-round picks in 2021 that we could use. We're not going to get much more for Hunt. I'm totally willing to do that trade. Hunt, it's been a pleasure. I do have to fix the roster real quick. No, we did. We traded for that 1 defenseman, so there's no need to bring anybody up from the AHL. So we're going to get... I'm sorry, Hunt, you had to go. It was all a part of the plan. If I trade you, there's no remorse anymore. They're a -3 now. That doesn't really bother me. I'm sorry. I'm not moving Brodeen down to make you happy. But Mayhew. It's your time to... Oh, he is a sniper. I did change him to a sniper. It says he's a 2-way forward, but he is a sniper. Okay? I'm not sure how this team is going to simulate this year. I'm honestly not too sure. So let's keep going on the preseason. 1-1-1 through. We did sign Nicholas Birfors. In or off camera, I decided just, whatever. I don't want this episode to be 800 minutes long. I do want to get a bit of simulating done. We've already made 1 trade for more assets. So I'm hoping a few teams come to us here in the near future. Maybe we can try find trade, see what's out there on the block. But I do want to see how we simulate through 1 month. And that month is October, the start of the 2019-2020 regular season. Here we go. Let's see how we simulate. Nashville, 6-3 whooping. Yikes. Avalanche, we get a W. We always beat the Avalanche, obviously. Winnipeg, 5-3 loss. So our losses are we're getting whooped. We're getting absolutely whooped. Devin Dubnyk not getting a lot of 2 straight wins there. We're 500. Montreal, we're above 500. And before we continue the season, let's look at the draft class. Now, these next few draft classes are going to be absolutely insane. Obviously, year 1, there's a few computer-generated guys. There's a few custom guys in there. But the second-year draft, the 3rd, and the 4th year are going to be nuts. And there's going to be a few surprises. Obviously, Alexis Lafreniere is the guy that I'm currently aiming for. Quentin Byfield would be nice. Mironov would be... Ooh, Marcus Mironov. This guy looks nice. I like this guy. And I want you on my team. You're a defenseman, and we're going to need more of those heading into the future, obviously. So, 4-3-0 after 7 games. Montreal yet again. 2 straight against the Canadiens. 5-3-1. And we're 5-4-1. And we're back to 500. Why would I do that trade? No, thank you. I don't need that. More 5th-round picks. I can stay away from that right now. So, after 13 games, we are 6-6-1. I'm not sure how Minnesota did through the first month IRL, but Eric Staal is having a fantastic season so far. We're currently sitting, I believe, in the 2nd wild card spot, or hold on. 2nd wild card spot in the Western Conference, so interesting. St. Louis not performing very well. The defending Stanley Cup champions, we whooped them. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and check the stats out for month number 1. Eric Staal, 16 points, making your trade value even. Oh, Gerald Mayhew, Gary, 80 overall, but you are scoring goals at will. 2 power play goals, 2 power play points. Obviously, that is what we need from you. Kevin Fiala. So the guys that I want to perform are performing. Now, there are a few guys that I'm worried that I don't see here, but we'll check it out. Eric Stahl, performing well. I'm glad that he's not performing like garbage, so when we go to trade him, he has a bit of trade value. Kevin Fiala, love to see it. Mayhew, tied with the most goals on the team. 2-game winners for Fiala. Zuccarello's not playing bad. Parise's a -1. Donato's a -3. But Parise isn't even doing that bad. And I want him to continue as a solid NHLer until the end of his contract because we can't trade it away. Ryan Donato, 9 points. Galchenyuk, 8 points on the second line. Isn't too shabby. Mikko Koivu, 6 points, is not the best. I want this guy to be a +10 usually because he's a great two-way centerman. He's one of the best two-way centermen in the game. Greenway, 5 assists. He's not even playing that bad on the third line. Hartman, 2 points, 2 goals. Ugh. Kunin, 2 points. Hopefully this guy continues to grow. Foligno's the worst, -4. Ugh. Defense, how's it looking through 13 games? Jared Spurgeon, 11 points. Okay, maybe you're making a case for not trading you away. Okay. Matt Dumba with 8. Sutter with 7. No goals yet. Brodin with 4. Pattern with 3. And Sealer with 2. Now, it's interesting to see how the goalies are not performing. Devin Dubnyk not having a great season so far. There's not much to say there, but we might even go ahead and trade Devin Dubnyk. Okay, now let's go through 2 months. Now, how is Pittsburgh doing? Pittsburgh is currently top of their division. So getting a fresh Jason Zucker, I'm hoping they I hope they suck, obviously, but let's go through 2 months. Let's go to the end of November, see where we're at, and then discuss. 4th round pick for a 5th and Brown. No, I don't feel like doing that. That's it. Why would I make that trade right now? He's our kind of fill-in player. St. Louis, we get another victory, 7-6-1 through 14. Why does everybody want Brown? Another victory. How the hell are we winning games? I don't really like this. I mean, I'm not going to force this team either way, but I do want to see how we are at the end of this month, and then maybe we can start making moves. But we're above 500. We're fighting. Constantly in and out of 500. Now we're below 500. And we're back up to 500. I don't get it. We're forcing ourselves to win games. 2 straight against Metro teams. We split it. And then we win 2 in a row. Okay, 13-11-2. I don't think we're a good team. I think this might be the point to start making moves. Are we in a wild card spot? We are currently 2 points out from the Ducks with 1 game at hand, but are we a competitor at this point? We're going up against teams like the Avalanche, the Stars, the Predators. Jets just are tied with us. You got the Blackhawks not too far behind. You got the Coyotes, you got the Flames, the Canucks, the Kings, the Ducks, the Sharks, the Golden Knights. Everybody is so close now, getting down in a race to the end of the season. Is it going to be in our favor? I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure it's going to be too pretty for us. Okay, but I do want to see how we're performing through 26 games. Sue's dropped off. Mayhew only had 2 goals that month. That sucks, but he's on pace for over a 30-goal season, which is a 30-goal season about. That's good. Eric Stahl is having a fantastic season, 32 points, so we might try him out. Might try him out, find trade, you never know. Kevin Fiala is performing. That is huge for us. I want to make sure that our young guys are performing, and if they're not, that sucks, okay? Matt Zuccarello, 23 points. Not too shabby. Mayhew, we talked about. Zach Parise, -4 with 18 points at 35 years of age. It could be worse. Donato has 10 goals, so we have a few great goal scorers on this team. I'm not sure why he's scoring goals. Okay, Mayhew is obviously a beauty. I love him. What a beauty. He's a sniper. Then you got Alex Galchenyuk, and this is a guy that we could totally swap off or swap at the end of the or near the trade deadline if need be. Mikko Koivu only had he had 3 points that month. He's a -4. He's not doing the best. Do we look to trade him? Potentially. On the third line, you got Jordan Greenway, 7 points. Not putting up the points just yet, but he is a +3 on not the best team. Kunin, 4 points is -3. That's not the best. Hartman, 3 points, -5. Foligno, -9. Ugh, okay. Defense. Matt Dumba and Spurgeon are tied with points. Dumba is a +3. Dumba has 7 power play points. So this guy is obviously our go-to guy here for the future. But we have a solid decor. Everybody's putting up solid points except for a bottom pairing there. Brodin with 12 +6, and Sutter with 11 points. He's still an 88, which is good for us, and he's a top 2 defenseman technically. Goaltending. Devin Dubnyk got a little bit better. I think Stalock might have gotten a little bit better too, but a guy that we could totally ship off to a team that needs him. Let's check out the entire league stats, see how everybody's performing through 26 games or more. Who is the best player in the league right now? Alexander Ovechkin, leading the pack by 4. It is weird seeing all these real players because, for the last decade in my last franchise mode, there were rarely any real players, so it's nice seeing actual faces. Okay, Alex Ovechkin going for that Wayne Gretzky record. I hope he breaks it. I think he will do it. Then you have, he's leading by 9 goals. Oh, there's no question he's winning the Maurice Richard trophy this year. Defense, who's leading the pack there? I'm going to say Carlson. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. But I think right now as it is, it's probably going to go to Letang just because it's only a 3-point gap. He's played 1 less game, and he's a +15. A lot of the defensemen with a lot of minuses. That's weird. Okay, goaltending, who's leading the pack in that category? David Rittich, 1 more win, 25 games, 923. Carey Price has a 933. Ooh, yeah, it's Carey Price right now. What a beauty. What an absolute beauty. Franchise goalie, obviously. Gotta love him. Who's leading the Calder race? It's Capo Caco currently. Jack Hughes obviously not having this kind of a season IRL, but I think he's fine. He'll be fine. He's just playing on a garbage team at this very moment. Cale Makar, Hughes there, Marino, who's going to be a great NHL defenseman. I really like that kid. Glass, Suzuki, a lot of great rookies in the NHL this year, but just to play with an idea right now. Who's the worst team in the league? Blues have 22 points. Oilers have 17 points. Hurricanes have 19, and Detroit has 27 somehow. So, Oilers are the worst team in the league, and they're looking for another lottery pick this year. I swear to God, if they get Lafreniere and Connor McDavid together, I'm going to cry. Okay, but realistically, we're not that far out of a lottery position. And is that what we're kind of going for? Nobody's offered us a trade so far, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm not saying that I'm going to make a trade right now, but I do want to look and see that we could potentially get for an Eric Stahl, who is playing fantastic right now, who has been our best player so far. Arizona, 2 seconds in Grabner. I'm looking for a first and a prospect, personally. Avalanche, a first-round pick next year and a second next year. But the Avalanche are going to be a pretty solid team. Shane Bowers, that's a decent prospect. Timmins as well, another awesome defensive prospect. Colorado making a lot of offers. Florida, 2 seconds, not a huge fan for that. Martinez, why would I do that? Nashville, okay. And Afanasenkov. Winnipeg, a first, a third, and Perreault. So there's a few trades out there. We could wait until the trade deadline to make that trade. But let's see what we could get for a Mikko Koivu. Let's see what's out there. I'm sure there's a lot of teams that could use a two-way forward, steady centerman. I'm sure there's got to be a few teams out there that want him. Arizona, 2 second-round picks. Shane Bowers, a first and a third. Kuat, Timmins, Martinez. Cale Fleury, who is going to be a good NHL defenseman, but a first and a third from Montreal. Brooke, who's not a bad prospect. A second and a third from St. Louis. And 2 seconds from Winnipeg. So I'm not a huge fan. Nothing pops out at me at this very second in time. Okay, now we can go to, let's see Spurgeon. Let's see Spurgeon and see what, maybe there's something out there for him. I'm not too sure at this very point in time. If there could be something out there, I'm totally down. But if there isn't, hey, what is that? The Avalanche. I don't really want to make a trade with you guys. A first and a second, Timmins. So the Avalanche were the only team to make an offer for us. So let's go to Devin Dubnyk. Devin Dubnyk. 84 overall. Let's see. Zach Kassian, no thank you. Schneer, and then you got a second from the Senators. Okay, so not the best trade value. Not gonna lie. So those are the only players that I wanted to test out. We're gonna go, let's go one more month. And then the next episode, we'll see where we're at and then go from there. So one more month, the month of December. Let's go up to the 1st of January 2020 and see how this team is performing. Dallas getting a lot of extra points. Regulation loss there. Draft class, let's check it out. I do want to draft a stud this year. We have to start out drafting right. We do have 2 first-round picks this year, but I want to acquire more down the road. Marcus Mironov from Russia. This kid is similar to PK Subban. Ooh, he's going to be sweet. You got Stutzel. I know how all these guys look. Drysdale, Rossi, Stutzel, Quinn Byfield, and Lafreniere. But Lundell, there's a lot of guys that we could go and look at. Antonio Stranges is a fast bugger. There's a few created guys here. Brass Caribou, Oliver Shouty. Jack Quinn, who is lighting up the OHL this year for the Ottawa 67s. I decided to give him a boost there. We do have a goalie in Askarov, but I kind of want to stay away from him because we did draft him in the last franchise mode. Is there anybody scouted here? Wiseman, there's a goalie. Okay, we'll scout you because I like them goalies, okay? I want to make sure to pin you. Okay, anybody else that interests me right now? We'll pin the goalies. I want to make sure I draft goalies pretty well. I usually do anyways, so it's not that much of a problem. Tampa Bay, 2 straight Florida games. Hurricanes have fired their head coach in Jamison Wellwood. Okay. Did we lose against Tampa Bay or not? Wow, they really want Brown. Well, we could do that. I mean, I'm going to just decline the trade as it is. Did we lose to Tampa Bay? 5th for the 4th. No. Stop simulation. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. We did lose 3 straight there. Picked up 1 win in our last 4. Okay, we're below 500. Let's go to the end of the month and see where we're at. I'm hoping, kind of just for the plan, that we're a below 500 team, hopefully worse. Okay, the Oilers want... Why does everybody want Brown? No, you can't have Brown. Vegas, a shutout for one of our goalies. A4 drubbing from the Arizona Coyotes. Winnipeg, another drubbing there. And 3 straight losses. Colorado Avalanche, we don't get the W. That's surprising, actually. Islanders, 2-1 shootout loss. No. I'll wait on that. We can easily pick up 3rd-round picks, but... Okay, so after 3 months, we're 16, 21, and 4. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I want us to just be bad. Obviously, I don't hope for us to be... Detroit of IRL, but I do want Alexis Lafreniere. I want a chance at one of those top 3 picks because I've never drafted Lafreniere, never had Quentin Byfield, and I want... Mironov looks crazy, but I do want more. I want a forward more, right? Our forward prospect pool isn't looking the best. We need just a definitive prospect. We're 2-7-1 in our last 10. We are currently tied for worst in the Central. Oilers have 28 points, 26 points for the Hurricanes, 34 points for the Sens. So we are currently pretty close to last in the NHL. We're 8 points ahead of the Oilers and 10 points ahead of the Hurricanes. So I want to make sure where we're at. So are we looking, hopefully, if we can just get into the lottery, potentially get a top 3 pick, that would be huge. So we're currently 5th last in the league. Hurricanes, I don't know why you're so bad. Oilers, I understand. Senators, I get. Chicago, yeah. Minnesota, yeah. St. Louis, I don't get that. Detroit, you should be worse. Okay. San Jose Sharks, now that we've been halfway through the real NHL season, I get it. New Jersey, you're bad. Kings, yeah, you're pretty bad. Anaheim, there's a few weird teams here. Okay, so we're going to check out the stats here for this very last month. Or not our last month, but I do want to see where everybody is at. Mayhew not scoring too many goals. That's sad. I wish he would score more goals, man. You're a beauty. Hopefully a 20-goal season this year. He can do it. He can do it. Eric Stahl is going to be traded next episode. I think now that we're closer to the trade deadline, there's going to be more trades available to us. Hopefully a few firsts here and there. I'm totally down for it. Fiala, 38 points in 41 games. He's looking at close to a point per game season this year in Minnesota, which is a huge step for him. Matt Zuccarello is potentially going to be traded. Gary Mayhew, he's a beauty. Don't even talk to him. Zach Parise, 27 points as a 35-year-old. That albatross contract that ain't going nowhere. -10. Ugh, not the best. Not the best. But he does have 2 penalty minutes, which is pretty solid. Then you got Mikko Koivu, has 28 penalty minutes. Explain that to me. -10. So Donato is also a -11. 11 goals, though. Alex Galchenyuk, 17 points. Greenway with 14. His plus-minus is at a 0. Is he growing? He's at an 80 overall. That means we're growing, and we're not the best of teams. Luke Kunin is at a 79. So our young guys are growing. Even though Kunin is -6, he's not going to put up the best points this year. But if he grows to potentially an 82 by next season, we're going to be a better team already. Okay, defense, who's performing? Matt Dumba, obviously. 10 power play points is really solid as a defenseman. Spurgeon with 23. Brodin with 16. Sutter with 16 as well. Pattern and Sealer are bad. Goaltending. Devin Dubnyk, 13, 19, and 3. 899. Save percentage. It could be worse. It could be worse. I have seen worse. Okay, now let's go to the entire league just for this last month here and see who is leading the way in each category. Dave Rittich, but it's Carey Price as it currently stands. He's an absolute god. If you don't believe he's one of the best goalies in the world, I will have a discussion with you because I think you're wrong. Well, now let's go to rookie skaters. You got Capo Caco's leading the way. What a beauty. What an absolute beauty. Defenseman who's leading the way there. Erik Karlsson, who's surprised, but yeah, Karlsson has a 9-point advantage on Drew Doughty, and Drew Doughty has the next best plus-minus. So it's Karlsson as it stands. A lot of minus players this year in the NHL. All skaters, who's leading the way? Claude Giroux with 57 points. Ovechkin probably leading the way in the goal-scoring category. Sidney Crosby's up there. Connor McDavid has 45 points. He probably should have more, but the Oilers just suck. 33 goals for Ovechkin, but Claude Giroux is slowly but surely catching up. Okay, assists, you have Mark Scheifele. What a beauty. What an absolute beauty. But we are 3 months into the season, 16, 21, and 4. 2, 7, and 1 through our last 10. Are we a rebuilding team? Is it finally time to go with that scorched earth policy? Have we seen enough? We're not a contender. We're not a good team. Is it time to pull the trigger? Because I will. Potentially tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, please leave a like, leave a comment, share with people who you think may enjoy this sort of thing. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.